Once there was a young woman named Sarah who was obsessed with the idea of time travel. She spent her entire life researching the subject and even built her own time machine in her basement. She had always been told that time travel was impossible, but she refused to believe it. One day, after years of hard work, Sarah finally succeeded in building a functioning time machine. She stepped inside and set the date for the year 2050, eager to see what the future held. As she traveled through time, she saw some incredible things. She saw cities that had grown and changed, and she saw people living their lives in ways that she could have never imagined. But as she continued to travel, she began to notice that something was off. The world seemed darker and more twisted than she had ever imagined. As she traveled further into the future, Sarah realized that the world she was seeing was not the world she had hoped to find. In fact, it was a world that had been overrun by darkness and evil. Cities were in ruins, and the people were living in constant fear of being killed by monsters that roamed the streets. Desperate to find a way out of this nightmare, Sarah set the time machine to return her to her own time. But as she traveled back through time, she realized that something was following her. A terrifying creature that seemed to be made of shadows and darkness. Sarah tried to outrun the creature, but it was always one step behind her. She soon realized that the creature was not just following her, but it was also changing the past. The world she knew was being twisted and corrupted by the monster's presence. As Sarah finally returned to her own time, she stepped out of the time machine and found herself in a world that was nothing like the one she had left. The city was in ruins, and the people were all gone. The only thing left was the monster, standing before her with its twisted grin on its face. With a start, Sarah realized that the monster was her own creation. Her obsession with time travel had led her to build a machine that not only allowed her to travel through time, but also opened a portal for the darkness to follow her. The darkness was the manifestation of her own fears and doubts. Terrified and alone, Sarah fell to her knees and wept, realizing that she was responsible for the destruction of the world.